Hey folks, so welcome back. This video is going to be covering basically first startup, trying to get first startup, crank with no spark, crank with no fuel. That's not exactly what we have. The diagram we have covers all examples of crank, no crank, what to follow and stuff like that. So for us personally, it's we had a spark. We're gonna double check we have one right now. We have fuel. I personally believe it's either too much or too little fuel. I mean that, or somewhere in our timing, a distributor or mechanical timing is wrong. I believe our mechanical timing is correct, and I believe our distributor timing is correct as well. So it could be something with we're not getting a good enough spark, but that we'll have to see. So currently first up is I'm going to crank the motor over to top dead center. We're going to use the bottom crank pulley mark to line up, and then we'll check the top dot on the camshaft. It's on the back side of the cam pulley, so we'll line that up. Don't use the front pulley dot because it is not the right dot. You will misalign your engine. Ask me how I know. And then once that's set up, then we will make sure that we're at top dead center, everything's lined up, and then we'll make sure our flywheel is timed correctly and is in the correct timing spot. That isn't the biggest thing ever for this right now. It comes more into play for when you're trying to time it with the electrical light, and it makes life really miserable later on if you don't have it positioned right, but I believe I did that correctly when reassembling, so let's dive into this. First thing first, I'm going to get some light on this situation. And some gloves too, because the last thing I want is to be eating the inside of this car. I'm working on it later. So. First things first, nice jacket off.
Big old bar on that one.
What does that sound?
Sound.
It sounds like it's clicking. That's lined up there. Might be the starter. Maybe the starter's engaged. Well, I can see the cam pulleys lined up here.
Right, but that's, we should be lined up down here. I'm not seeing a mark on that side.
It's this way.
It's
it's this right there, yeah.
And it's not lined up.
Well, you're pretty fucking close.
No, you're not. You're good.
You're literally one rib out.
So this has to come
Up the other way.
back.
And you're pretty much
Can you
dead.
shine the light in this or something?
Yeah, you're dead on. Yeah, you are. I'm looking right at it. You're dead on. You're dead on right there. And look at the cam pulley. Here.
When you look from the back, there should be a dot in between the valleys.
It's pretty much on. I mean, here, look at this right here. I have my headlamp right off for you. Right there's the dot. Right there's your pointer. There's your dot.
Yep, so
Straight
they're on.
Now we go back there.
Now we go back there and make sure that should be on. There's 0 or 10.
It's 0.
0.
So.
Can you see it?
Yeah, Yeah, I can see it. It's about one tooth of the flywheel off.
Sorry?
It's about one tooth off on the flywheel. So we can fix that, but we're gonna have to set the timing on that again.
All we're gonna do is take that front crank pulley off. If we take the front crank pulley off, turn the flywheel to the right place.
Well, it's pretty much spot on. I mean, I'm looking at the dash, and it's literally a millimeter. Come on. If you look right there, you can see where the dash is. It's supposed to lie flat across that bar. You see the little dash in there?
I can't see because your finger's blocking or something's blocking it.
Let me give you a custom. You see the dash on it?
Yeah.
That dash is supposed to be flat with the notch.
Okay, so we'll turn the crank until it is. Because if that means the flywheel's gone wrong, the engine has to come again.
Well, that much shouldn't have. That's literally a quarter of a tooth. It would run. It would just run and sound fucking stupid if it was really that bad.
What that means is that your valves are opening in the wrong place. I need the light.
Is that going the wrong
See,
way?
that's showing 10 now.
Okay, what about the other way?
Whoop. Now you're minus 10.
Okay, so it's literally a hair of a fucking fraction that shows that. That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking hair's
back,
tooth.
Go back. Back. Whoop. Touch. Just a touch. Whoop. Touch more. Look. That's it.
0.
What's lined up?
And the crank is, oh, I would say a tenth of a millimeter off.
Okay, so that's pretty fucking close.
And
So we
then
got those two.
this is spot on, basically. A tenth of a millimeter off. It's about as fucking close as
And
you
then if
can
we
get
go
it.
over here, let's pull that distributor cap off.
Let me put this down.
This should be lined up with.
That's the bar
This
weight.
should be lined up with this. There's a notch right there.
I see that notch, yeah. Shouldn't that notch be pointing towards the engine?
No, as long as it's lined up, because this is a mechanical drive, this has to fire at the right place, so that's
Okay.
in top dead center right now. Now that's not going to be perfect because it's going to have to be adjusted with a strobe light later, but it should be good enough to get the car running. So everything's in the right fucking place, which is good. Hold that.
I say we pull the fuel pump relay and shoot some fucking car cleaner down her and see if she fires. Because realistically, this should. Let's see if we get a spark. We'll pull the fuel pump relay anyways and see if we get a spark. And if we get a spark,
Now, which one's number one?
This
Number
guy.
one is this guy here. So this should be sitting right underneath there.
that sits on perfect. Yeah, watch out.
And then we have to make sure these are on right and then put that one in there right.
Did you see that split in the boot right there?
And it's this way, here's a split.
Could that be an issue?
No, we'll find out sooner or later. For now, I'm not too concerned about that because it's not down the highway.
We got a spark plug tool.
So that's all there. Now, let's make sure we got these right. The firing order was
Right on the valve cover.
1, 3, 4, 2. So there's 1. It's this one here.
Yep.
This is 3.
What direction does it fire in? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
Yeah, so
3. This should be 4. This 4.
This is 2.
The other one must be 2.
So, next up,
Over these 2 leads here. They went to in here.
Got that one right there.
Let's hook them up.
Which way do they go?
For now it doesn't matter because this is sensor, so it should be okay either way.
Yeah, because it said the polarity for this also wouldn't matter.
Yeah. So let's get those on there. And everything hooked up. We don't want to flood it, so we want to kill the fuel.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the fuel pump relay.
Yeah. Come on, dog.
It's these fucking gloves. Whenever I'm trying to do something fit, like fine with my hands, I can never do it with these gloves on.
Should be a connector down here somewhere. Is it connected up? It's this one here that we take on here.
Yeah.
Goes on to something down in there. Yeah.
Turn right here. Because realistically, all of this stuff should be tuned pretty close to run. You know what I'm saying? This all came off the same running setup for the most part, except for the ignition system. For the well, most of the ignition system came off of a running car. So
That's connected.
so if I can flip that over. Shoot on. Okay, vacuum to there, vacuum to there.
All the electrics are hooked up.
Vacuum up to there. Yep.
And you pull the fuel pump relay, and you pull one of these plugs.
If you want to pull plug number one, that thing like pops on the spark plug. You'll feel it when it pops on. So, just to explain a little more what we're doing here, guys, we're pulling the fuel pump relay, and we're gonna just check all 4 cylinders to make sure we're getting a spark on all 4 cylinders.
Yep.
And we don't want to flood the engine and put a bunch of fuel in the oil sump,
Yep.
because that's bad, especially for a new motor. So pull the fuel pump relay, makes it easy, and then we'll go from there if we're getting spark in all 4. You know what we could do as well? Let's measure it.
Check the gap on your, what's it supposed to be?
Somewhere in this book.
Eventually, and
Well, we'll just check them individually then.
check them, but you check the spark plug gap where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the electrode gap.
Yeah.
I'll see what we have. It's probably going to be the spec page in the front. It's getting a ton of fuel. I pull them out and they're dripping.
I'm thinking that maybe the injectors are not shutting off and they're pumping all the time, and that would definitely stop it from starting.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to just spray some fuel down there, spray some carb cleaner in it. But let's make sure we're getting a gap. Let me get a tape measure and find 12 millimeters, and I'll make sure it's actually jumping 12 millimeters. Where's my little measuring stick at?
It's half an inch, basically. Ideally, what you do is you get a block of wood, you drill a hole this much
size.
through it, you put it through it, and then you set it 12 millimeters away from the block. Yeah.
Where's my tape measure? Here we go. I'll just find a spot away and hold it.
Half an inch basically.
You know, it's something metal on something I can just rest my.
You can
Would
just
this
put
work?
it right onto the
Well,
block.
this would work, wouldn't it? Just touch the metal.
No, it's not
No.
good.
Okay.
You just go right onto the
Valve cover.
valve cover.
Okay.
Because it's strapped to earth. You know,
And I'm looking for what, half an inch?
half an inch.
Alright, I'll leave my tape measure out. Let's hook up the battery.
Where's that spot for the one?
Right there. Hang it down. Doing a little hangy dangly.
Or you can go to the strut tower. That's bolted into earth. You can go to the strut tower. Say about half an inch, but it's going to vibrate around. Got any tape?
Yeah, that's a tape.
Put some tape on it.
Here, a half an inch. What did I do with
About
that?
half an inch.
There you go. That'll be there. If you just prop it up, that'll be good. If it can jump that, I think we'll be happy. I think she'll be a happy little spark.
Okay, you pulled the
Fuel pump relay, yeah.
fuel pump relay is out.
Sitting on the desk right there.
Okay. Everything else is hooked up the way it should be, so we shouldn't be splurting any fuel anywhere.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it logically, the way to do this is get a block of wood,
And just
drill 4 holes in it, put all 4 plugs in it,
I'm watching while jumping.
and put a freaking half-inch freaking
plate mounted away.
plate mount and just fucking set it on top of the freaking valve cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the ignition off? Yep.
All right.
We got a good.
All right. I'm watching.
So we got ignition. We have lights. Ready?
Yep. Stop. Not jumping. Let me try to go a little closer
Get a
to
little
it.
closer.
It might be just not pointing close enough to it.
Or it might not be good enough earth.
Try now.
Ready?
Nothing.
Okay, so try it on, just try it against the
Valve cover.
valve cover. Get it up close.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my fucking hand on the metal part. Nothing.
Okay, so we're not getting a spark.
Weird, because we were.
So that would explain why it's not fucking starting. So, how's our RF cable? It's getting hot again.
Oh, we're missing a ground right here.
Where? Okay, put that ground back on where it's supposed to be. Is that where it's going to go?
Yeah, but that's for the engine harness, so that shouldn't have stopped our spark.
It might be stopping something on the ignition.
Maybe.
Get out of there, dog.
That plug isn't tight enough though. We need to crimp that plug.
Come here.
Okay.
That plug's too loose, but we'll fix that eventually.
What plug?
That one, that ground is too loose. It needs to be crunched, but besides the point. Try it
It
again.
makes a difference. Ready?
Crank
Yep.
that.
Oh, okay. Try it now.
Where's your dog?
Right there.
Right here. I got it.
Nothing.
Don't either. Okay, so there's something not working here.
You stay your ass a minute.
Let's see if we're getting 12 volts down there again.
Well, first things
Let's see if we're
first.
getting volts here.
The cable that plugs into this, is it plugged in all the way? The sensor?
That should be getting 12 volts now, shouldn't it?
Well,
That sensor.
right now, well, that's what we're going to check. If it's not working, it's going to tell me what to check. So I'm going to check
You
it.
should be keyed on right now, right? Are you keyed on?
No, we're keyed off and I'm leaving it on.
Key on for a second.
It's going to be on DC voltage.
We know
We're
gas
getting
is
volts
running.
at the coil.
What are we getting?
I'm getting 0.43, which is what we always got.
Let's see what we got over here.
Let's see what it says. Hi, baby love.
Hi, babe.
Katie Fish wanted to say hello, Fish.
Arrow, arrow, arrow. You gonna get this baby started or what?
Trying.
Oh, not the headlight.
Okay, so let's check the coil. Make sure
Do you have
the
another
coil's
battery?
Huh?
Do you have another battery for that?
Ignition off. Okay, initial coil. Make sure the initial coil is off. The primary coil resistance between 1 and 15 should be 1 ohm to 1.3 ohms. Here's your tester. Can you pass me that tester, please?
Yep. Malcolm, what did you say was coming in at?
I wasn't in volts. I was reading volts, not ohms.
Here you go.
Thank you.
He's reading something else right now.
So I need to get between these two 1 to 1.3 ohms.
Oh no, it's stuck on my boots. What is it?
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my boot.
Need a good earth. I'm not getting what I'm supposed to get there. Should be 1 to 1.3, so that's about right. pull the center piece off. $50 coil. This one, this one. And we get 2.91. I should be getting 5.5 to 8K.
Ohms?
Yep. Is this the original coil?
No.
Do you have another coil? This out?
Yeah.
Give me another coil.
Oh, now I trapped myself.
Well, here's a brand new one.
Sorry?
Here's a brand new one.
Okay, let's see what it measures.
Doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's never been tested before. But it's NGK. This is the good shit. This should be the good shit. Saving you for a rainy day, buddy. She's a nice looking girl, isn't she?
And this one and this one.
You the filmer, Katie?
I expect.
Yeah, I'm
Katie,
just,
camera girl.
I'm checking it out, you know.
But 1 ohms. Perfect. And this one. And this one. This one's high. This one goes 17
Hey.
ohms.
Maybe kid is not plugged in and it's got nowhere to go.
This one's 2.91 kilograms.
You want to test? Let's go test Peppers. Peppers is in the car. Let's go test it. We'll just walk over. Come on, Katie. Go for a field trip.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh. Did she? Oh my god.
I think I took it off and put it in here. Oh, Domino's, let's go.
Okay.
That's an original coil, so.
Okay, so just hold it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pete bag.
So we should have a good earth.
I'm taking over the camera.
Good connection.
I'll tell you what we get. Scaling one.
1.1, 1.2,
So that's standard.
right? And then here's the positive. Which one says positive? This one? This one?
Beep, beep, beep.
It's going between open line. There you go. 8.
How do you
Eight,
rotate
eight,
this
eight.
piece?
Just depends on the connection.
This camera is snazzy. Oh, it goes like this.
Just getting a short connection. Here we go. 7.03, so it's between 5 and 8. So that's a good coil. I think we got a bad coil.
Let's try the brand new one.
Well, no.
Well, because I would hate to steal this from Pepper.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if that's the right coil because that's got a way higher resistance.
This tested the way it should.
That tested the way it should. This has got
Let's
a
put it
way
in there.
higher resistance across here. This
Right,
one's giving me.
Fuck, you sold me then. Let's put her in. Put her in.
This one's.
Alright, keep it over.
So just put the ignition on first. Have the ignition on.
Yep.
Lights on the dash.
Yep.
Fuel pump doesn't run until we go to start, which is correct.
Call me crazy. I have a crazy idea.
That's good. That's a crazy idea.
You think something's somehow sparking?
What do you mean spark?
Like something's jumping and contacting the engine block? There's a live contact in the engine block somehow? These are spread far apart.
Just tape them onto that. See some of the blue roll, tape them onto that.
Alright. You ready?
Yep.
Well, that sounds way better. It's actually cranking. No smoke though. Is it getting hot?
That one went up from 66 to 72.
Well, it's not smoking, so it's a little warm, but it's
Not
hot.
as bad as it was. We'd have done that before. It would have freaking.
That would have been up to 100 by now. It could just because we're spamming the starter. By now, that motor would have started and been running for the. That was
So,
30
have we got any
seconds.
Was the fuel pump running?
Oh, I can smell it. I can smell it.
I haven't seen any leaks anywhere.
Which is a score. So I think the next thing is you've set up our distributor so we're firing correctly.
We should be, yeah.
So I think the next step will be let's make sure we have fuel pressure at where we're supposed to have fuel pressure at. Because if you don't have the correct fuel pressure at the warm-up regulator, at the cold start, at all that stuff, you're going to be hurting. Same with this stuff. Same with this stuff. You have to have the correct fuel pressure set to all of this stuff. Otherwise, your life hurts.
Well, if we just hit start and let it go back, the fuel pump should be running, and let's see if it warms up the thing. Yeah? Just hit it to get the fuel pump running.
No, it stopped doing it. It only sends it when I crank it, so.
Could be because the alternator's not hooked up.
No, because if I disconnect this, it'll run the fuel pump.
Why would it run the fuel pump by disconnecting that?
Because the sensor's disconnected up front, so the sensor goes, I'm getting air.
Can't do.
It's the start of drawing it.
It's not the fuel pump. The fuel pump's running. We're not getting fuel in the engine, which is why it's not starting.
Oh, yes, we are.
Why? This you said that.
No, we're not getting the right pressure. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we're getting fuel. It just you have to have fuel. Watch.
These are round ones. Oh, fuck those bolts up. Use the round end. Yeah, there's fuel coming out of that.
That was squirting out, so that's under pressure. So
Turn it off.
that's going straight into the injector line. So we are getting fuel in the injectors. It's just simply either not firing when it's supposed to, or the fuel pressure isn't right and it's not getting enough fuel.
Well,
It's
if
getting
we
way
take
too.
this
It could be
back-
getting way too much fuel.
Right, it could be getting way too much fuel.
It could just be drowning it, and that could be why it's not running.
So we know we've got fuel running through. How do we adjust the fuel pressures?
Well, that's when the book comes in handy. This is, by many accounts, the worst part about these cars is this fuel system, the K-Jet system. So we're going to go read on it before we do anything. That's what this.
Everything turned off. Disconnect that battery again.
I think it's just a dilapidated starter. Because did you hear how much faster that thing was cranking it?
Yep, and it wasn't getting as hot.
Yeah.
It got up to freaking.
It cranked it probably 5 times as many times with half the heat. So I think that starter is just too fucking cooked to be cranking on it like that.
Yeah.
She can only be done when you have a reliable car that's gonna fire first click when you start it up. Because Pepper was like that. Pepper always fired up.
Yeah.
I got one with the purple car.